feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey everybody, Shrimp Tank Nation, welcome back. After a small hiatus, we're coming back to you live and in person with our interviews again. So thank you for taking a break with us, but welcome back. On the Shrimp Tank, we like to say this is where book smarts and street smarts collide. We like to bring you some of the best and brightest entrepreneurs and business owners from here in central Pennsylvania to just let them tell their story, learn how they started, grew, and now are running their businesses. And we like to say, get your MBA in entrepreneurship by listening to this show. So I'm your host, Nathan Imboden, and one of our goals today, actually we have a few goals. One, we're introducing a new co-host. You may, you were on a previous episode as an actual guest.
Correct.
And if you remember, you were George Chewbacca Shrimp, which made me laugh so hard.
Thanks, Taylor. We appreciate that.
Shout out to T. Ranker for that one. But George is the president and CEO of the West Shore Chamber of Commerce, and George is going to be stepping in as the new co-host of the Shrimp Tank. So this relaunch is to get us again re-engaged with our in-person and live interviews. We're going to go back to our original format. We took a break doing in the crosshairs of Corona because we're focused on all the challenges specific to the shutdowns here in our area that businesses were facing. But in a lot of industries, things are kind of getting back a little bit to normal, even though there's still some mandates and alterations from the way things were. But we have a new co-host. So we want to introduce everybody to George as well and just talk a little bit about what this new partnership is going to look like. So I also, though, want to give you some time to talk about the Chamber as well, so you can fill everybody in on some of the challenges the Chamber has really faced and some of the things that you're adjusting to be able to really continue to serve the members well. So why don't we start there? If you want to do a quick reintroduction to your to the audience and about the Chamber, and then talk about what you guys have been dealing with, and then we'll talk about the podcast.
Absolutely. Well, Nathan, thanks so much for allowing me to come back on the show, take over this role for Taylor. Some big shoes to fill, but I think as Chewbacca, I can pretty much fill those shoes pretty easily. So Taylor, thank you. Certainly appreciate the opportunity to do this. It's been great. We've had a great partnership since the inception of what you guys have been doing here in central Pennsylvania, and we're just really happy to continue to be a part of this. Seems like a great thing for us as an organization to be able to talk to those people who are having their businesses start, work, grow, and continue to move forward here in our region. So I think for us as an organization, this made total sense. You and I have had a great relationship to be able to do some interviewing and do some different things. Crosshairs of Corona, I think, was a great opportunity for us to say, hey, here's what's happening locally, as we're dealing with quarantines and everything else that goes along with that. So I think for us, this just made sense. Now as things are starting to reopen, we're getting back to some sense of whatever normal may be now. I think this provides us with a great opportunity to be able to come back, again, I think stronger than ever, and be able to tell people, hey, here's how businesses are pivoting. Here's how things are moving forward. There is an end in sight eventually. We're going to get there. Again, we just need to continue to work together to make this happen. So
yeah, and we've seen countless examples of businesses innovating, pivoting. We've talked to tons of businesses that have had to pivot and are now taking those things and saying, oh my gosh, we should have done this 5 years ago. We're way more profitable or more efficient or whatever it is, that they're now using that even as things get back to normal, whatever that is, saying, I don't know that we're ever going to actually go back to what normal was before this. So it's been really neat to get in the minds of all those owners and find out what they're doing. So yeah, and you're going to bring a great perspective. This is why I wanted to, I had a long list of potential co-hosts, and believe it or not, George, you were at the very top.
And it's just not because I'm bigger than all of the other co-hosts, correct? Or maybe that's a little bit.
Well, we'll let everybody else decide what's true and not true about that. But the fact that you're dealing with business owners all the time, I think it's a natural fit to have you part of this because one of our goals, as we say all along, is we want to teach the message of business ownership and entrepreneurship through this podcast. And you're in the minds of business owners, both small and large, all the time. So you bring a great perspective on what challenges businesses are facing. And so we'll be able to, I think, really just do a great job of diving and digging even more deep into that. So I'm really excited personally to be able to, I think, add a lot of value to the show and to our viewers and to the guests as well by doing this.
Yeah, the hope for us really is to be able to help provide perspective, because I think in any situation, being able to provide perspective is key. Many times we're looking at things through our own lenses, and sometimes we just need to take a step back and say, hey, how does somebody else see this or deal with this? And you go, oh, wow, I didn't think about that. Now you can move forward. Now it's a little bit different. I mean, I know even for us as an organization, just changing the way we've done things and the way we're doing things now has been challenging, but I think we're finding out that we can do this. Our business community has been very supportive of what we're doing. Not being able to meet in person for quite a period of time has been an adjustment for us as an organization, especially when that's what your organization is known for and predicated upon is face-to-face interaction. So now it's just different, right? Using different mediums, using different ways to do that, but knowing that eventually we're going to be able to get back to face-to-face communication. I think we're just trying to plan how do we do that safely and effectively. We've always looked at our events and said, hey, we can do some really neat things. We can do some really good things. Let's be innovative and figure out how do we do this now in this new world that we're living in under the restrictions that we have. And we want to be mindful of everyone's safety. We want to make sure that people feel comfortable. And if they don't, that's okay. But how do we reach everybody?
Yeah.
And so I think some of those changes you're going to see probably, as you said, last going forward, even after this pandemic may be over. But I think it just makes you think about how do you do things? Can you do it effectively? What are the procedures that you may have in place to be able to do that?
Yeah. Well, as you said, particularly challenging for an organization that really thrived on meetings, networking events, which essentially everything got shut down.
Sure.
And so not only, I mean, you were just forced to pivot and figure out how you can do things differently. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see as some of these, restrictions, if they do start getting either lifted or at least altered a little bit, that makes some stuff a little bit more easy to administer, particularly from an event standpoint. I know we're dealing with that. We have some events that we had scheduled that have been canceled. We have some that we're looking to start rescheduling, but it's such a limited capacity that we're trying to feel our way through it too, and under the guise of making sure that everybody is safe, feels safe, feels comfortable. We respect everybody's opinions and where their kind of personal level of safety and comfort is to just be able to make sure we're doing things responsibly. So what have you been doing? What have some of the pivots been that you've tried to, as an organization, kind of tackle to still get and stay engaged with members and, I guess, feel like you're providing value when a lot of that stuff's taken away? Right.
I think for us, we've always been a resource for information. I feel like during this pandemic, we've become even more so a resource for information. And so for our organization, what we wanted to do is try and provide as much information to our business community and our community that we could. So we were busy gathering, collating, figuring out what was real, what wasn't real, and then pushing out that information that would eventually be beneficial and necessary for our businesses. And so we spent a lot more time behind the scenes trying to gather and work with our partners to say, hey, what is the newest thing, right? What is the next update? And many times I would have a conversation with a member and say, hey, listen, the information we're about to talk about is good for today and today only, because it could change. Right. And because there was so much uncertainty and things were changing at such a quick pace early on, we had to constantly say, okay, what's the newest thing? What's the next thing? And make sure that our information was updated and true and correct. Yeah. And I think that's the one thing that the business community appreciated the most, is that we were very free with giving away information. We didn't charge anybody for it. It was just, hey, here it is, pass it on to a friend. This is nothing proprietary at all. We want to get this out to as many people as we can to help benefit them. Because if we can impact someone in a positive way, that's a good thing. Whether they're a member or not, we hope they would be, but we just wanted to do the right things for our businesses and our communities. And so that's what we started doing. And now it seems like more than ever, with the opportunities for grants and funding and those types of things, we just want to get information out. Right now, the big thing is childcare, right? And how do working parents dealing with kids going back to school or going back virtually, how do we all deal with this? And so we've been working with our employers, our school districts to say, hey, how does this all work? Again, it's not our information, but we want to be able to push that out and get perspective too, as I mentioned earlier. What are businesses feeling? What are parents feeling? What are they dealing with? And how can we help assist with that? And so we've done much more on the collaboration side, working with other organizations, working with our businesses and our communities to say, how do we get through this together?
Yeah.
Because there's no rule book.
Yeah.
There's no guidebook on, page 3. I figured out how to do this now. Just read page 3.
Yeah.
There's none of that out there. And so everybody's going through the exact same thing.
Right.
How do we do it together?
Yeah.
How do we make sure that we're doing this in a safe and responsible manner?
I know the website, you guys did do a fantastic job of taking all the information and noise that's out there and condensing it to, hey, here's what we think are the most relevant pieces of information that you need. You look at any, if you want to try to lose weight or exercise, you can Google exercising tips and you'll get 200 million search results, right?
Right.
But there's a reason why people hire trainers or coaches or whatnot, because they can say, okay, there's all this stuff out here.
Right.
Here's what you need to know, and here's how you do that. And you kind of were doing that, which is unbelievably helpful. And now, especially, I hadn't thought about particularly from the chamber side of things, the child care.
Yep.
But it is relevant because it may affect me as the owner of the business, but it's probably, if it doesn't, it's probably going to affect my employees somehow.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so if I can also have that information to be able to use
Yep.
as a resource for them, that's good stuff.
Yeah, and we just feel like now, as we're trying to pivot and change and get back to some sense of normalcy again, how do we help our businesses do that? Because there's a lot of people out there that, again, they're just trying to find their way. And if we can help make a positive impact for them and their business and their employees, chances are we're going to make it through this in, again, a positive manner. And without all the negativity that we continue to hear day in and day out, let's try and make a positive impact in our communities.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job. The organization's doing a great job. And I think hopefully this co-hosting and partnership with the Shrimp Tank is going to continue to do that we can keep spreading that positivity and those good messages out. I got big goals for what we're trying to do. We want to get, so with that, look, if you're watching this and you haven't done so yet, go to our Facebook page, click that like button, make sure you are following us so you can keep up to date on all of the interviews that we're doing. You're hearing from the chamber, you're hearing from different businesses in our community, in our backyard, who have gone through it. If you're sitting thinking, oh my gosh, I'm doing X, Y, or Z, I'm going through X, Y, or Z, and I don't know. There's somebody on our show that has gone through it and has probably given a tip. So it's a great resource for you out there to be able to hear about what's worked, what hasn't worked. And so again, go to our page, go to our Facebook page, hit that like button so you can stay up to date on everything we're doing. And again, George, I'm super excited. I'm glad you're part of this. I think it's going to be a great addition to the show. And if nothing else, it's nice to have some more height disparity between the hosts. Taylor's hair gave him a little bit of an advantage, but yours is just good old natural height. So I'm glad we have these high chairs because it doesn't look. Can you see our legs, Joy? Are we okay? Well, then the world already knows. I'm gonna have to get extensions. Yeah. I think on my.
I'm trying to help you out by not putting my feet directly on the ground.
That's good. You got it stuck up. Yeah, that's good. You're a good man, George.
Trying
You're
to
a
help
good
out
man.
as best I can.
All right. Well, we're going to start coming to you, I should say, live. We're going to do some live short interviews with folks, and we're going to be posting all of our normal, which are about 30, 40 maybe minute full episodes. We're going to post on the page. They're going to be on our website at shrimptankpodcast.com/centralpa. So you're going to get a lot of information from us. So feel free to check out whatever medium you like. You can also find us on every podcast app essentially that's out there. You can search for the Shrimp Tank Central PA. Click that subscribe button. You can listen to it in your car as well if you prefer the just audio version. If this isn't enough eye candy to get you engaged, just go to the audio version alone. But again, really excited. We're glad to be jumping back on board here to bring these episodes to you. And you know what? I think that's it. We can do I'll save some of the shrimp stuff for later episodes. That's a good idea. So,
and I would encourage everybody, if you get a chance, go back and look at some of the previous episodes. There's a lot of really good information on there. There's really amazing people who are in our central Pennsylvania area and our region that are doing just incredible things, and you probably don't even know that they exist.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you go in and listen to the podcast, watch a video, you're going to be surprised on what we have to offer in our area, which I think is absolutely tremendous and extremely diverse, which is
True.
really neat.
Yeah.
Really neat to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be on our website, shrimptankpodcast.com/Central PA. Again, I'm Nathan Burden.
George
Wonderful
Book.
co-host, George Book. We will see you on an upcoming episode.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp